Hello. In this video, we're going to go over making a small little app or tool, as we call it, to track budget items. So you can see in our sample tools, we do not have the budget items app. So we'll flip over to the administration interface, which works very similarly because it's built on the same code as the regular user-facing apps. So we'll go, the first step is to go ahead and make a data type, which represents your MySQL database table for that, the type of thing you're going to be tracking. So one thing I like to do is make a list of the fields that I'm going to have in my data type before I create it in the interface. So we'll go ahead and create it. We'll call it a budget item. As you see, I've rehearsed a little bit. It can't contain any other data types, and it's going to have its own table. We're going to take the defaults for the rest of these. Now we have it. We'll go under and we'll create a few fields. So of course, when you have a budget item, amount is very important. For that, we're going to have a low decimal, which can have a few decimal places, and hopefully not a high decimal. And we'll say amount, and we'll make that the first field. For the next one, we'll have the expense, learn how to type, and make that a little menu. We'll say expense type. We're going to leave that as 1 because I'll show you how to order it after this. Maybe we'll limit that to 20 characters, and we'll say essential and luxury. And for the last one, we'll say long-term contract. So we'll just demo that we can do yes, no. We have all kinds of fields in here. So yes, no, and we'll say contract. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now, once we have those fields, we can then order our fields. So we want the amount, and that's the order we want them in, actually. We'll make the expense type first. We'll set the ordering, and then we'll flush the little cache. And then we go over to the tools, which are what actually the user sees. And we have an option here for one-click CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. And we want to make it for a budget item. We want to show the name, the amount, and the expense type. And we want the view, the create, and the update. And we can have the delete too. And right now we're going to do open access. So we create that, and everything is cached, so we'll flush that. And then if we just, on the user side, move, you should have budget items there. Now, you can order how your tools are displayed, in what order. You can make them go down. And you see it's got the little wrench. Why don't we fix that? You can now edit, and you have all kinds of options, which are gone over in the documentation. But we have a money icon, so we'll use that. And we'll see that it moves down there. And now we have budget items. So let's create a budget item, or 3. So we'll say phone bill. That's essential in this world. And we'll say, embarrassingly, it's $150 with a contract. You have a yes, no select there. Now we have that. That table didn't exist in the database before. Perhaps I should have shown you that. We'll say TV, and that is going to be a luxury. That's $100. And we'll say car payment. Maybe that's essential for $200. That would be a long-term contract, of course. So here we have that. So that's great, but let's, when you have numbers, it's good to see them on a chart. So why don't we go into the budget items, pardon me, clicking around too fast. Always when someone's watching you, right? So you go into the view modes, which are how this is displayed, and we'll create a view mode for cost by type. And we're going to keep the table, make that the second one to see, and I want to see a pie chart, and we'll show expense type, amount, and name. So the way this works is the first item is like the X value or the label, and the second item will be the it'll be the values for the chart. So we have no other fields needed. We hit enter and flush the sessions and do a little reload. Actually, when you add a view, you have to reload the tool at least. And now we have cost by type with the bar. So we have 350 essential and 150 is luxury. So that's what you can do very quickly with no code. Actually, you can do more than that with no code, but I don't want to have a much longer of a video. In the next video, we'll talk about what you can do with a little bit of code. Thanks.